Kia ora and welcome everybody. How are you? Right, some exciting news. I mean, really exciting news. I've got a new website. So it's the same name since 2006. Nothing's changed there. flexworks.co.nz. So if you want to check it out, head on over. The layout was done, or the website itself was built by Greenweb down in Kawakawa. I tried to do it myself again and I just failed miserably and didn't like it. So in the end I had to call someone professional, and it's been a good choice, I have to admit. There's so many pitfalls. Well, anyway, so if you need a reasonably priced, good looking website hosted in New Zealand, that's the important bit. In the Bay of Islands, check Greenweb out. Now, in the new website, or on the new website rather, so there's the usual information, the about, etc., and the contact form. If you want to apply for a quote for Pew Pew, and you need it, just there's a contact form again. But there's also the new shop. So as you know, I've always had for sale limited amount of rarana items, woven items, kete, Pew Pew, every so often, not very many. Recently I have been also selling dye that takes on harakeke. So we've had the Rit dye more, that's a liquid, the dye poly, that's a powder, and just since the last 2 weeks I've got the basic dye from Jacquard as well, and that's a powder as well. Doesn't go as far as the other two in terms of what you get out of it, but it's cheaper as well, so so you have a bit of a trade-off. And limited colors is only 13, so those are on there, and any dye is just for New Zealand sales because of customs regulations and all that sort of thing. And of course, if you're in New Zealand, you have the choice of a fourth dye, which is terry dyes, and that's made in New Zealand. It's a liquid, and you can buy them directly from the manufacturer near Christchurch, South Island anyway. So terry dye is the one that most of you will have heard of, simply because it's got those really out there colors. So if you're after a really out there purple or turquoise or pink, they are the ones. Right, on the shop also, brand new, some of my photography items. Most of you will know I'm a keen hobby photographer, I have been for years. And during lockdown I've posted, because I've been taking photos every day and posted them every day. So a lot of people were asking if they could buy one or two, and I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I've created a limited amount of calendars. The New Year's coming, and you get essentially more bang for your buck, really. So there's one, no, I think there's two actually, on Russell, where I live, Bay of Islands. They sort of landscape, and they're not the usual Russell views. So if you're waiting for one of the church or the Duke of Marlborough Hotel, forget it. I didn't take those photos on purpose, or rather I didn't publish them on purpose. There's a reason for it, because there's more to this town and this area than those two things. There is a photo of the Flagstaff though. But there's also, something a bit more arty, flowers, close-ups, that sort of thing. And most importantly, this being a weaving site, there are also two calendars on Mahiraranga. And we're speaking of the Flagstaff, so there you go. So you got your flags and your woven items, that sort of thing. These are double-sided, but I've got a separate, another one, a smaller one, with the date line at the bottom. So those are on there. So that's the shop. Most importantly, and that's why I'm so excited, is the new members area, the weaving circle. And that's a learning space for experienced weavers, and I'm really excited about it. So I have my YouTube videos here. They've been here for 10, 11 years now, sort of added onto it. And they've been really popular. The problem is a lot of people ask me for specific things or more complicated items, and YouTube has its limitations. And as time goes on, things have become more complicated and more time consuming. And so it was time to find a different way of, on one hand, helping people to learn these things, and on the other hand, working around YouTube, rules and regulations and limitations, right? So I've decided to create a membership area where you can get access to exclusive, advertising-free video tutorials on subjects such as how to make a lid on something, how to do a flat base on the Kete Whakairo, how to do segments on the Kete Whakairo, how to, do this kind of thing, patterns such as this, kupenga, just at the top of my head, an A4 folder is the latest one that I've made, which is rather cool actually. So there's a lot of things. They are, they take a long time to make, they take an even longer time to process, and with my crappy internet connection, they sometimes take up to a week to upload, and it just became too much just to sort of... Also in that membership area will be downloads. There's a section on downloads, and at the moment I've sort of started, there will be more added to it as time goes by. At the moment, it's mainly to do with how to be self-employed, how to start. If that is what you want and you haven't got a clue how to, where do you even start? For example, how do you price your work? Do you need to be GST registered or not? Do you need to pay tax? That's a big one. A lot of people don't know what to do around that sort of thing. I've got the topics in there. I mean, after all, I've been doing it for a while, and I probably made a lot of mistakes, and so I'm quite happy to share my experience, and that's all my personal experience. You might have different experience, or someone you know might have had a different experience, and this is all also based on New Zealand. So if you're anywhere else in the world, sorry, I can't help you. Although there are some things that are universal, like pricing your work. So that's in that section. There will be a section on cake. Gotta have cake. And that's basically because of my sister side, my grandmother's cookbook translation that I'm working on, sort of as a side project. And that's called Oma Ungart's Saxon Kitchen. There are a couple of cake videos here on this channel as well. Eventually, I will move the videos here from YouTube over there to that members only area as well. They stay here, but I will move them over, and so in the members area they will be advertising free. A lot of people complain about the advertising. That's the problem with YouTube. So there's no advertising, so no pesky little banners at the bottom. Also in the members area is 10% discount for the shop. So obviously, since I can only sell the dye within New Zealand, so that any dye purchases, they have the 10% only within New Zealand. But if you from outside of New Zealand and you want to purchase a calendar or this kete, 10% applies to you, and that's already in the membership, so that's guaranteed, which is rather cool. You can sign up for a monthly membership or a yearly one. If you sign up for the yearly one, you get 2 months free. So it's a win-win situation. If you just want to check it out, sign up for months. Bear in mind that I will add to it sort of on the semi-regular basis. I'm trying to, produce and upload more as I go on. So, it's not static. Also in the member area will be regular or semi-regular Zoom meetings. So let's just say you have questions regarding this. I will set up a meeting, let's say on a Sunday afternoon or whatever suits. And you can fire your questions at me. Or you can say, hey, you said this, but actually it's this, or whatever it might be, you know, or there might be a discussion about something completely unrelated that isn't even there, you know, but if people ask me to put up a message board, you know, and say, hey, can we please discuss it as a group? That will happening in the members area. So that's what it is. What it isn't is a step-by-step class. It's not for beginners. So if you've never woven before, please don't sign up. It's not that I don't want you there, but I don't want you to waste your money. It's basically, if you have taken already a class somewhere, in whichever shape or form, be it through a book. Speaking of books, Ali Brown's books here in New Zealand, they're brilliant. You might have had an evening class, you might have been to a wānanga somewhere, you might have learned online, or as a full-time class, or, you know, there's a number of different ways of how to learn. So I'm hoping that by the time you reach me, even here on this channel, but especially in the Weaving Circle area, in the members area, that you already know most of at least the basic weaving things, so I don't have to show you how to prepare and how to, you know, do things. Doesn't mean I'm not doing anything about it. I might, you know, show how to dye certain items, yeah, because a lot of people don't learn that. I didn't realize that a lot of people don't learn that, so that's something that came up in the process. So I'm basically the person, or these tutorials, they will be the gap filler. I don't know everything. There are things that you can only learn from someone else. So you will have to, you know, go somewhere else for that. And that's what it is. There is more than one way of learning. There is more than one way of doing things. I'm not saying that what I teach is the correct and the only way. There's dozens of different ways of doing things, and I'd like to think that people would like to take inspiration from a number of sources and then use that inspiration to walk their own journey. And I'm hoping that that's what brings you to me, and I'd like to help you find your way in one, you know, shape or form. And you know, we'll see. In any case, I'm really excited about the new website to start with. If you want to check it out, head over flaxworks.co.nz. If you want to sign up for membership, even better. That's on the website as well. There's a little, you know, sign up button at the bottom. If you have any suggestions, let me know. There is the Facebook page, Flaxworks NZ. There is the Facebook group that runs off that page. That's the Weavers, or Flaxworks Weavers for Weavers group. Although if you want to join that one, again, you need to be an experienced weaver. You need to have woven before, in whichever shape or form. And you need to answer all the questions. If you don't answer all the questions, the system is set to automatically, basically, decline everybody who hasn't answered all the questions. Or, you know, it's just we got so much spam. On that note, I only have to say, again, welcome and happy weaving, everybody.